Alright guys, every now and then we get a brand new super ambitious mod in Total War that actually looks great and is making some incredible progress. Rise of Empires Total War, an overhaul project built on the bones of Total War Shogun 2, transports the game out of feudal Japan and into the heart of 18th century Europe, covering the War of the Spanish Succession and the Great Northern War with a staggering level of detail, and all of that on the brilliant Old World overhaul map of Europe, which came out late last year. So this is the first major mod using this map. At its core, Rise of Empires is a transformation. It fundamentally reworks the game's mechanics, visuals, scale, purpose. Every system has been touched, from morale to unit fatigue to campaign pacing. It introduces an entirely new roster of factions, each with historical depth and bespoke regiments. The four currently playable powers in battles only, England, France, Russia, and Sweden, aren't just reskins of existing clans. They are fully realized 18th century states, built from the ground up to reflect the structure, uniforms, and doctrines of their time. So let's start with what's already playable, the battles. One of the major achievements of Rise of Empires so far is its growing library of historical and custom-built battle maps. These aren't generic fields with the odd tree or river for decoration. They are purpose-built reconstructions of real engagements. Maps like Blenheim place you directly into the formations and terrain of pivotal 18th century clashes. These are handcrafted environments with features carefully laid out to reflect historical deployments, elevations, and movement constraints. On Blenheim specifically, which I love the look of, you'll be fighting along the banks of the Danube with marshy terrain affecting your movement. It's a matter of pushing through the swamps and fortifications under pressure. These aren't just historical in name, they really are historical in shape and size as well. In these battles, you'll obviously notice a complete overhaul of unit behavior and design as well. The developers have implemented a reworked morale, speed, and fatigue system designed to more accurately reflect early 18th century combat. This means line infantry won't sprint across the field in a minute and start melee brawling immediately. Units move more deliberately, exhaust faster, and react more realistically to losses, flanking, and battlefield conditions as well, which is really nice to see. The combat flow is slower, more methodical, and more punishing for mistakes especially, and it pushes the player to think in terms of formations, firepower, endurance, what you're capable of, rather than fast clicks and blob fights. But perhaps the biggest draw right now is the depth of historical regiments and unit modeling. The diversity, essentially, of each faction's unit roster is off the scale. Rise of Empires adds loads of new uniforms and introduces dozens of meticulously researched regiments for each faction, complete with accurate banners, historically accurate textures, custom animations. These include units like the Garde Française, a regiment first formed in the 16th century but prominent in early 1700s French warfare, or the 3rd Jutland Regiment of Cuirassiers, Danish cavalry that served under British command during the War of the Spanish Succession. Each unit has a backstory, a historical reason for existing in the game, and a unique visual identity. You start really caring and getting involved with their survivability. There's also the Gendarmes de la Garde, the elite cavalry of the French royal household, and Colonel Voigt Regiment of Horse, part of the British-aligned Hanoverian Corps during the early 1700s. These are not just, superficial inclusions. All of these have a place within unit rosters, factions, to bring them to life. The mod team has gone to great lengths to reflect actual recruitment regions, command structures, historical alliances. It's not uncommon to field armies that look and feel like something directly out of a military history textbook, with the bonus, of course, of seeing how they might fare under your command. The mod also borrows high-quality custom animations and sound design from the Carlist Wars, another acclaimed overhaul. This gives battles in Rise of Empires a unique sense of rhythm and atmosphere. Muskets crack with weight, men shout orders and fall under disciplined volleys, and regiments advance to period music that adds to the immersion immensely. It's not just visual accuracy here, it's auditory and emotional authenticity too. Even loading screens and interface elements have been reworked with custom custom icons, UI assets being developed to completely transform your experience here. While still a work in progress, all of this is, of course, these additions specifically already show how seriously the team is treating presentation and visual and audio fidelity. As for the campaign, it's not playable yet, but we already have a good idea of what's coming. Rise of Empires will use, like I said, the Old World overhaul, a massive custom-built campaign map for Shogun 2 that transforms the Japanese islands into a sweeping theater of 18th century Europe. And from the images that we've seen so far, it looks absolutely brilliant. Like you can see here, stretching from Spain to Russia and including key theaters like the Italian states, Scandinavia, and even India. This map is purpose-built for the kind of multi-theater warfare the era demands. And this is a map that's been in the works for years, designed to support grand campaigns just like this on the scale and even bigger of the War of the Spanish Succession. When the campaign does release, it will feature a historically anchored Great Northern War campaign, which I think is music to a lot of people's ears, with regional governors, diplomats, generals drawn directly from period records. Sweden, for example, will have figures like Arvid Horn, Karl Piper governing provinces like Uppland and Karelia, while military attachés like Axel Gillenkrok operate in North Livonia. Diplomats like Karl Gillenborg, Olaf Hermelin will maneuver Germany and Poland. And Russia, meanwhile, fields generals like Alexander Menshikov, Boris Sheremetev on the front lines in South Karelia, with Tsar Peter I, of course, overseeing the state from Moscow. These characters all, really give you that sense of historical immersion. Placements suggest a campaign that blends Total War's grand strategy with a strong sense of narrative as well. Mechanically, we can expect the campaign to mirror the slower pace of the battle, so marching armies will take longer, supply lines and fatigue may play a larger role, morale, discipline, army composition will matter far more than sheer numbers, and with the team's attention to scripting and map design, it's likely that specific theaters like Northern Germany or the Baltic will offer unique challenges and flavor. Whether the campaign eventually expands into the full century or shift backwards into the late 17th remains to be seen, but the framework is already being laid for a long-lasting, expandable platform here. What's really striking to me about Rise of Empires, though, it's not just a nostalgic mod. It doesn't try to just recapture Empire Total War on a different engine. It's truly its own beast, built to take advantage of Shogun 2's relatively stable and flexible framework, active AI, brilliant mechanics, while pushing the envelope in terms of visual fidelity, scripting, historical content. By working with Shogun 2's engine, the mod team gains access to more detailed unit models, cleaner animations, smoother gameplay experience than Empire ever could offer, while sidestepping some of those hard-coded limitations that plague other Total War titles. Also, finally, the team behind the mod is actively looking for more contributors, especially in 3D modeling and 2D UI work. So if you've got the time, energy, experience, or you're willing to learn, definitely drop into the Discord below. I've dropped a link in the video description, and get in touch with the modders. Let them know you're willing to help and get this mod across the line. Mods like this definitely need a community to help support them. Testing, feedback, modding, all of that goes a long way to help get these mods across the line. Overall, Rise of Empires isn't just another mod. It's a transformation of Shogun 2 into a full-scale 18th century war game, complete with historical battles, authentic rosters, and a planned campaign that promises grand strategy on a continental scale. Right now, players can dive into historical battles, test out regiment behavior, start to experience the tactics of an age dominated by powder, formations, and maneuver. And when the campaign arrives, we can expect an experience that blends deep historical immersion with the core strengths of the Total War formula. And that's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, give it a like, drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below, and let me know what you think about this massive mod coming to Shogun 2 with Rise of Empires. Subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.